What's up, guys? It's Ade. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm a singer, songwriter, producer, engineer, as you guys may know or may not know. In the last video, we did a beat breakdown for Life is Gucci. The previous video, we also did Ojiri, and the video before that, we did Trouble. And in the comments, you guys, thank you so much for commenting and liking the video and sharing it around. In the comments, you guys asked for Juice. Now, I have Juice in front of me, right? There's two problems. The problem is that the beat data is not opening again. Shout out to Logic Pro for being just whatever. So I've had to use the WAV files, the wet WAV files, to just arrange everything and put everything in place. But I can still solo instruments and show you guys what I did to actually make the record. And so yeah, we're gonna dive right into Juice. But obviously I have a couple stories before I start playing the beat. I want to let you guys know how I actually came about this song. So a couple years ago in 2015, 2016, I had an A&R in my studio, and I was under some management, and his name was Casey. And he was like, he came to me one night and he was like, "Oh, the Ghana bounce thing is a rave right now." And everyone's trying to do the Ghana bounce. Everyone's trying to do the Ghana bounce. Runtown, I think Runtown had released Mad Over You. So he was like, "Yo, you go listen to some Ghana bounce type records, and then try and make something in that vein." And yeah, so I that's exactly what I did. And that night I had laid down like the basic snare and the basic piano pattern for Juice. And yeah, it was supposed to go to my artist at the time, and I don't think he was interested in recording on the song for whatever reason. So I played it for Tiny, and Tiny sent it to YC, and it was a done deal. YC sent back some stuff, and we worked it out, and we figured out how to make this Juice record. And it was after lots and lots and lots of refinement, we finally arrived at this Juice record. And then for a couple of months, I think about 2 months, we had the record basically complete with a third verse, I think, or second verse from YC. I can't exactly remember. And we were shopping it around to different artists for features and stuff. And then we didn't really get the person that we wanted to get at the time on the record, but then we sent it to Maleek, and Maleek was like, "Yo, he needs to do this record right now." And sure enough, a day later, he sent back this crazy, crazy verse. And yeah, when I heard his verse, it inspired me to add more stuff to the beat, and I wanted the song to like progress and develop and grow and evolve over time, so that it's not a singular listening experience like from the beginning to the end, which is very unlike my records because I like to keep things very, very patterned out properly. The reason you probably didn't even hear my tag in the song because I was the one that put Malik's Berry Pun this thing at the beginning because I felt that, oh, he's the feature on the song, like let people know that he's on the song, which was a big mistake from my part because then people automatically assume that, hey, this guy produced the song. But no, Maleek didn't produce the song. I produced the song. And shout out to Maleek for coming out and even saying it so many times that, oh, it was Adi that actually produced the record. Because he didn't have to and he did. So big shout out to him. And this was my first number one record in Africa, actually. It was a lot of sweat and tears to get it right. And even the process after, doing the record was not easy. Dealing with the blowback of, falling out with Tiny, YC falling out with Tiny. I fell out with Tiny. Yeah, it's hard for producers in Nigeria to actually, to actually get the right thing done for them. Because so many people feel that producers are irrelevant. And I'm tired of the narrative. I'm here to try and change that narrative. Without the producer, there's no record. There's no record. So we need to pay more attention to producers and respect producers a lot more. I'm tired of talking about the whole Tiny YC issue. Honestly, I'm way beyond that right now, but people keep asking me, so I keep having to address it. So this is probably the last time that I'm gonna address this issue. People ask me, how much money did you make from this song? This song has almost 100 million streams. I made exactly zero, because of how the record was published and the shadiness behind how the record was published. I didn't make any money whatsoever from the song. I made money from referrals, obviously, from people coming to me saying, "Oh, I want to beat like Juice, or I want to beat like this," and yeah. So it's all in the past anyway. Me and YC are cool now. We were cool before, but obviously some things happened. But we're cool now. Shout out to him. I have 2 placements on his new album. So excuse me. Without further ado, let's get into the beat breakdown for Juice. So this was when I was kind of really, really in my Afrobeats element. I was combining everything that I knew about my R&B stuff, and everything about like my Afrobeat production, trying to combine the two together. So this was the first time that I actually got it to work. So obviously we start off with rim sounds and stuff, which is synonymous with African music. Yeah, there we go. Sorry. Very basic, nothing too spectacular. Um, it's honestly, and then I didn't quantize anything. I made the entire beat in Logic. I didn't make the drums in FL this time. I just put everything down and I just didn't quantize. I just kept like natural swing all throughout. And then we have pads here. So these really set the mood for like the what's to come. Then I have some quirky stuff as well that I really, really like to put in my records. So I have this perk here. It's like I call it a moan perk. I don't even think it's in the key of the song, but somehow it still works. It still works within the song. Yeah, it's really not that complicated a beat, honestly. Really, really not that complicated a beat. This is a patch in Nexus. I think it's Simple Saw actually. Oh no, it's not. This is Gladiator actually. Sorry. It's just like a gliding lead. It's not really that special. It just adds to the whole thing that's going on. We have a holomorphic bass here. This is one of my favorite basses. I use it in Logic a lot. It's a default patch in Logic for bass. And it just glides so well. So I really like this bass a lot because it has almost an 80s type feel to it. It makes people feel a bit nostalgic when they hear it and stuff. It has like this retro color on it that really, really works for this song and a bunch of other songs. I did it for Wavy Level as well, this same exact bass as well. And I usually use this bass with an 808, but don't think I put an 808 in this song. I can't remember. So here we have another light pad. Oh yeah, I played that already. Sorry. Yeah, this is the bass from Maleek's part where the bass goes crazy. So So for this beat, I didn't quantize anything at all. Like all my instruments, all my drums, the pads, the bass, I didn't quantize anything. I wanted to keep it as loose as possible, to just kind of it almost gives you that euphoric feeling. Obviously, I played parts of it until I got it right. I'm not saying that I just played everything once and that was it. No, no, no. I if I needed to play a snare in a particular section, I'd play it until I get it like to the kind of swing, the natural swing that I want. Then obviously I have my quirky atmospheric tools like breaths and stuff. So this is a breath right here. And then kicks. So I just kind of kept the kick pattern as spaced out as possible, because there was quite a lot going on in the actual instrumentation. I tried to keep the kicks as spaced out as possible, so there's space for vocals to sit, and there's also space for the instruments, the pads, all the wide pads, the bass, everything just kind of sits. So the kick just comes in to just play in the party for a couple of seconds and then goes somewhere else. It keeps things way more interesting that way. And then obviously just typical crash. And then some extra percussions right here. moans, yeah. Then breaths again. This one I put a 8-bit distorter on this breath, and just to give it that kind of Game Boyish feel. You know, I love video games, so this is like I try and incorporate video games to things I'm doing. So aside from the snare, there's the rim. There's also a snare as well, and the snare kind of it doesn't play the exact same pattern as the rim. You know, so I'll play the two of them together in a second. So it just kind of bounces, just bounces off the rim. One of the things I did as well was that my tag at the time wasn't very good, so I didn't really like my tag playing on the records. A rookie mistake. But we're talking about 5 years ago. So my tag is actually in the record at this point as well.
Ego a day.
But I obviously don't use that tag anymore. It's now Adi turn up the volume. But that tag was there. It was just lowered a lot in the mix. I don't know who mixed. I think it was Suka that mixed it. Just lowered it a lot. Then Nexus, my Nexus leads. These were my defaults like back in the day, you know. So I mean, atypical. Then I have this kind of the same thing here, but this is filtered. Again, this is simple saw. It's when you go to saws or I can't remember what it is in Nexus. It's literally like the first option there, and you just click it, and this is the sound you get. As you can see, mistakes are left in there because it adds to atmosphere. There's another one here. It makes everything kind of quirky, which I like a lot. So in there, I put a bounty out in 2017. If anybody could find the mistake in the record, and that was actually it. I'll show you where it is again. Coming now. There. Go back again. Yeah, right there. That's where the mistake is. So obviously the bounty is no longer active because I've just told you where it is. So, but if a couple of people were close, but they weren't exactly like on point. So another pad right here. Pianos, which I like a lot. Check it out. You know, these are just like distant pianos that just kind of just hang out in the background, you know. Everything just comes together so well for this record. I honestly, I was very lucky to get this record done the way I did it, you know. Because there's so much going on. So that's pretty much the beat right there. And then obviously Maleek's part, which is probably about Maleek's part might be here, I think. No. Maleek's part is here. that's how you end up with the full record like Juice. A lot of people think that this beat is really complicated, but it's actually not. Like I keep saying, the simpler your beat is, the better. Obviously, it's important to be able to understand how to create layers and how to create different. If you're trying to create a warm effect, how to create the warm effect surrounding vocals or surrounding your beat. It's important to be able to create that, understand how to create that and balance it out so that everything works in tandem with each other. The mistakes, obviously I heard the mistakes in the beat that I made, but I left them in there because if I took them out, then it sounds so processed and so like almost like they made the beat in the factory. And I didn't want that to happen with this record. I wanted it to be as natural as possible, almost like he was playing with some sort of band that could play 20 different instruments at once, Oh yeah, there's another way to go.
Body on this one, oh.
Alter ego a day.
Ain't nobody but that. I don't wanna wait for nobody. I just wanna dance with you.
And the drop, few people have asked me about the drop before. I just literally just muted things. I didn't put a roll or anything. I just muted specific sections of the instruments and just left like the end piece of it on, so it sounds like it's just coming in on a drop, but that's actually the drum pattern for the whole song. So I mean, this is Juice. This is it. Nothing crazy. The artists obviously brought their A game. Maleek and YCEE obviously brought their A game and absolutely crushed the record. They absolutely crushed the record. Like, this record is not possible without YCEE or without Maleek. And I was just very fortunate and happy that I was able to work with these guys on this record and put out something that has actually stood the test of time, because everybody knows how Nigerian music is, where after a couple months no one's playing it anymore. But this record still till today still gets the spins. I still get a couple ads here and there. The streams are still going up. So I'm actually really proud of YCEE and Maleek and myself, of course. So that's gonna be it for me today, guys. If you want to see more beat breakdowns, just let me know in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe the video, and whatever you want to see me do next in terms of beats, or which beat that you want me to do, just let me know in the comments below, and I'll be sure to attend to it and get it done. Thank you guys for watching the video. Please like, please comment, please subscribe, and please go listen to my EP. I just put out my EP on the 22nd called Akiba. It's almost on 50,000 streams already, which is crazy. So all right, that's gonna be it for me today, guys. Thank you so much. Peace.